What's up, guys? Brother Bob here with the Off Grid Church. Thank you for joining me once again. In this video, we're going to discuss really the first chest rig that got me down the path of perfecting my gear, as well as the philosophical viewpoints that go along with building kit out. As civilians, that can be very difficult, trying to master our kit with no specific mission, and taking things like the environment and not having a support system, all of those things into effect. It's really hard to perfect our kit, even if that's even a possibility, right? But we have to strive towards perfection. So this is really the first chest rig that got me down the path of that, as well as my first rifle as a civilian. I've had this for about 10 years now. I've had the chest rig for about 7 years, and this has been my main setup, and I feel like it would be an injustice not to make a video of this setup, because it's been with me for so long, and I've had many different configurations and setups and modifications of both the chest rig and the rifle, and I just wanted to talk about these things as they are budget friendly as well, and I think you guys will appreciate the versatility options. If you don't have a rifle or a chest rig, the scalability and, like I said, versatility options that it gives you to play around and move certain things I think can help assist you guys in building your kit out proper way until you guys want to buy something else down the road later on. But this is a great option to scale things, move things around, play with different things, and really find out what really works for you. So let's just jump right into the video. As always, quick disclaimer: none of the equipment in this video is going to save your soul. Let's not put our faith and trust into man nor man-made gear, but put our faith and trust in the Lord Jesus Christ. This is going to be a staple in probably all of my videos, to remind the body of Christ to not get carried away with the things of the world. It's important to build skills and to have confidence in your gear and equipment, but there's a definitive line between confidence and faith and trust, right? We put our faith and trust in Christ, and we have confidence in our equipment to get the job done. The reason why we're out here preparing and becoming a more self-reliant body of Christ is because faith without works is dead. So there's many different interpretations of that, but in the sense of preparations go, Noah had to build the ark. He had to go do the work. David had to enter the battlefield with a slingshot and a satchel of rocks. We have to do our job, and we have to prepare ourselves the best we can, and not live in fear, not live in worry, and let Christ, handle the rest. And God's got our back, and it's important to always focus on that. All right, so we're over on the tailgate, trying to get a better overview picture for you guys. Hopefully the camera is set so where you guys can see as I discuss and break down this chest rig. So basically, yeah, this is a Haley Micro chest rig at the center of it all, and what you see now is how I scaled it out over the years. But I originally just started with the Haley Micro that I had for years and just ran it just this for years. You just rip it off just like that, and you have just the micro itself, and we'll discuss this here in a little bit. But I want to discuss really the micro itself, because this is what I ran for years. I just scaled it up a few years ago. I've been running the Scalability system for about 2 years, maybe 3. So the micro itself, this is all empty right now because I don't really run this rig as much ever since I have the Mayflower. But in the front here, you have an admin pouch. There's a lot of videos talking about this. So, this is a very famous rig. Everybody makes their videos. I'm not going to dive too much into it all, but I just keep this in here for now, just in case I want to rip it off from the Thing 2 from Spiritus, which we'll talk about there, and slap this on the back. That way I don't have all the Velcro rubbing up against my shirt or anything like that. I've had everything from ammo, med, admin, all different configurations, combined here with the loop front. You can get really creative and attach Velcro attachments here and all sorts of things. So it's very versatile in that aspect. Big giant gray and black American flag, 5.56 patch just because, and under the flag I have a TRex Arms tourniquet pouch, which I love. It just gives me more options to run other things here, where some guys would shove a tourniquet in here. I find that a little too tight. Or you could shove it behind here as well. Some guys would do that too. But I found it nice to be, when I actually ran the chest rig, it's very fast access to it. This is just a cheap Chinese knockoff tourniquet that I have, that everybody knocks on these tourniquets, and I'm with them. And I think you should only put your, you should only really buy the good NRA proven cat tourniquets. But if you read the reviews on these on Amazon, there are guys in the field medical professionals that have used these, and they've held up and worked just fine. I'm not going to dive all into that because I much prefer an NRA cat tourniquet. I just can't, I'm not going to buy, you know, 10 NRA cat tourniquets. I have a few of those on my main rigs now, and the other cheaper ones I throw on, you know, backup rigs like this. So you have 2 pistol pouches right here, which I would use for, I would shove, if I'm in the backcountry in the mountains, I would shove actually a water filter, a Sawyer water filter in here, spear magazines for my pistol, flashlights, all sorts of things you can put in here, as well as these tie down loops right here. I put like Sharpies through there, chem lights, and it's just very versatile. And back here I have the Haley map pouch pocket, and you know, you can put maps in there, right in the rain, all sorts of things like that. So this is what I first started with, and I scaled it up over the years to this thing 2 that you are seeing now. And that's basically how I scaled it over the years with this guy. And this guy really changed, whoops, there we go. This guy really changed the dynamic of this rig, because you can take this micro here and slap it on here, add more pouches and attachments, and you really just made this a scalable chest rig to fit different sort of, you know, training that you want to get done. And this is called the Thing 2 by Spiritus Systems. This is probably the best addition that I made to the micro here, because of, like I said, the versatility and options that it gave me. I have a Spiritus JSTA, JSTA, whatever you want to call it, pouch, JSTA pouch. Phenomenal pouch. Love this thing. I'm actually probably going to relocate this to my battle belt and try things there, as well as the GP pouch here. This is also from Spiritus. This is the small GP pouch, and everything's kind of like streamlined and lined together with the chest rig, and I really like that. Other pouches would be too long or too wide, and when you go to actually shoulder the rifle or move around and ruck and have a pack on, things get in the way. So these pouches actually fit very well in here. The cool thing about the JSTA pouch from Spiritus, if you guys haven't already seen it, is that it has a magazine, you know, retention back here, as well as pistol, rifle. You can, this is from Lunar Concepts, the actual insert, but you can put whatever you want back here. Rifle, pistol is what I have it now, or rifle, flashlight, multi-tool, whatever you want, as well as a front pouch on the inside. So, you know, it has Velcro loop on the inside, and right now I have just you know, batteries in here right now. But you can, you know, use your creativity about all the things you can put in here, as well as another sleeve pocket back here. And you can take this off, this pouch actually, and run it through a battle belt, and just, you know, slide it over your battle belt and run it on a belt system too. So it's very versatile, this pouch. And over here with the small Spiritus small GP pouch here, it's got a front pocket inside. You can shove all sorts of things in here. When I ran this, I've had it in many different configurations. I put my water tablets in here, my water decon tablets, all sorts of stuff in here. I can't even remember all the things I've had in here, but you just shove anything in it. In here, smoke really fits in here very well. Shamag, gator, you know, balaclava, extra gloves, all sorts of things you could fit in here. And I've ran many different things in here over the years. I've only had this kind of setup for about 2, maybe 3 years, and this is how I scaled it out over the years. And I took basically a micro rig and turned it into a full-fledged scalable chest rig that you see now. The hanger down here, I've had this hanger as long as I've had the micro. I bought them together, and I do like hangers. I just don't like things bouncing around underneath my chest rig. So I moved this over to my battle belt that I've ran, and I would stick it under my battle belt as kind of like a thigh rig with med here before. But I mainly use this for med. I've also used this to just shove MREs in here. If I'm going lighter weight with a smaller pack or no pack at all, I will shove a bunch of food in here, and then meds in here, or meds in here, however you want to do it. That's how I ran it though. I've shoved everything in here, from food, med, extra ammo, bags of ammo. Down here I've ran an extra 30 round mag in here before. You can fit tourniquets in here, and this is just a nice little elastic kind of sleeve down here. You can get really creative. I've ran my shamag down here for quick access, gloves, and that's really what I've learned over the years with this chest rig setup and making it scalable, is that you can really kind of learn what you need. And what I learned, what I needed was, anything that I'm going to wear on my chest, I wanted fast access to. If I'm in a gunfight, I just want things that I actually need, which is ammo, med. Another thing I learned over with making this scalable for me is that scalability is great if you don't know what you want or you don't know what you need and you're still learning. This has been a great chest rig for me just to figure out what I needed and learned. But I've found out over also the years that scalability can be a bad thing because you always constantly want to change things, and it's good to just marry a certain type of kit. And that's where I'm at with the Mayflower chest rig that I have now. You can't really mess it up, you can't really change things, and I've just married a certain kit, and I've known what I've needed now, what I need fast access on my chest, what works for me under certain packs and configurations. It basically always stays the same now. So I still keep this rig just to test new things out and try things, and always keep that creative aspect to training, right? Again, perfecting kit is, I think, something we all have to strive for. Even though if we will never be able to perfect kit, it's good to just always have a versatility option like this. And that's why I wanted to make this video, to show you guys the different aspects of this and why I think it's important to have versatility, and why I think it's important to also marry your kit later on. Hope I didn't miss anything. Oh yeah, the back here, so the radio, these are considered radio pouches. I would, if I'm in the backcountry, I would shove a water bottle in here, just a regular water bottle, so I can have water fast access, so I don't have to take off my pack. And there's a bungee retention here to go over the water bottle, or a radio if I'm running comms, as well as you can fit magazines back here. I will fit, these can fit actually 2 AR mags back here, but I only have one because it starts to bulge and dig into you, and I don't like that. I like things streamlined, right? As well as this knife that I've had here. This is an UpArmored knife. Guys in Tennessee, I think, makes these. It's a phenomenal knife. Everybody was asking me in the comments in my last video, like, we don't have a knife on your chest rig and with your first line war equipment. And you know, the answer is I do have a knife on those equipment, but on those other sets of gear, but I'm not bringing a knife to a gunfight, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's important. This is more of a combat knife, so when you wear this rig, I would, if I had it on, I would just grab the knife like that, and the blade is facing outwards. So the concept behind that, my idea was behind that, if I got taken down and a dude's on top of me, I can pull this, and I can't get to my rifle with my pistol. I can pull this knife out. It's on my chest, and the blade is already facing outward, and I can use the blade to get somebody off of me if things ever got that close quarters. But if things got that ever close in a battlefield, you already failed as a civilian, in my opinion. I'm not a CQB guy, never have been, never will be. But I did want to talk about the knife setup here because that was just awesome. It fit perfectly in there. I actually weaved that. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like some, nah, you're not gonna be able to see too much. Yeah, kind of. There's like some zip ties right here, and I put the zip ties through the sheath of the knife, through the molly, and this thing is solid. It ain't going anywhere. So it's a great option to put a knife there and get creative and kind of rig that. And it's so streamlined, you don't even know it's there until you need it. As well as these other kind of swivels on the thing too. These kind of rotate, which is really awesome. Granthum's Onward Research chest rig is actually sewn in at an angle like that because it's better on packs. And this thing too kind of swivels, which really is such an awesome design when you're wearing it with pack systems. So I found that really cool, very comfortable, awesome chest rig to wear with packs, and it's very versatile. So that is the chest rig that I've had over the years that has taught me many things, and I feel like I should share that with you guys, and I hope you guys appreciated this chest rig, and I hope it gave you some ideas. This is not cheap by any means. You know, these are American made, very compliant materials, so when you buy stuff like this, you do support American economy. But it does come at a price. There are cheaper knockoffs of this on Amazon, and if you want to go that route, I wouldn't judge you at all. Just for a cheaper option, it's not going to hold up as well as this, I can tell you that right now. I've used the other cheaper stuff. Condor seems probably like the best cheap stuff out there, but it's made in China. So just keep that in mind. I forgot to mention the inserts. These are the Haley MP2, whatever inserts they are. They've worked great for me over the years. I've put different inserts in here. I've had the Lunar Concepts inserts in here before. They are my favorite because it kind of streamlines it down. When you use these inserts, when you put a magazine in here, the inserts kind of spread, and you add like another inch or so, you know, further out, which kind of makes it a little bit more bulky. You know, kind of spreads out about an inch past your chest. So but they're great, they work great, they're phenomenal. And that's the chest rig setup. Now let's jump over to the rifle. Okay, so this was the first rifle that I ever got as a civilian. I actually got this on a trade. My buddy owned a gun shop, and I actually traded a old Gixxer 750 stunt bike that was beat to crap and only worth about 1,200 bucks on a bad day, and on a good day maybe 1,500 bucks. And I traded it for this rifle, which is a Sig M400 enhanced model. It came with the Magpul furniture, and I basically traded that motorcycle that was beat to crap that was only worth about 1,500 bucks for this rifle and 1,000 rounds. And I used that 1,000 rounds and shot irons with it to build skill before I jumped into any sort of optic system down the road later on. But bought this rifle, or traded this rifle for, you know, traded the motorcycle for this rifle and 1,000 rounds, and got started on training. Sig M400 enhanced model. Came with the whole fixed front sight, iron sight up here with the Magpul, you know, rail system, which I took off, and we'll talk about that shortly. Start from the back here. This is a Hogue buttstock. I've had all sorts of buttstocks on this over the years. I've had the Magpul ones with the battery compartments, and those are all right. They weigh a little much. They're about a pound, maybe a little bit more than a pound for a buttstock. I thought that was kind of a lot, especially when you add more batteries or things like that. It gets heavier. It's not a bad thing to add weight in the back. It kind of balances the rifle pretty good. But I like simplicity. I like things streamlined, and the Hogue, as well as other Magpul stocks that I've had on here over the years, is where I just kind of left it and ended up with in the end. It's a good stock, and you know, I like it. I have the QD on here. As you can see, I've been through the whole QD thing. I much prefer to weave my slings through the actual stock and get rid of unnecessary metal and rattling. But for this weapon, I just left it the same, as it's not like in my BCM build. You see I weave the sling through the stock, but here I do have the QD sling. And that's the stock Sig lower. I actually love the Sig lower. This is a great lower. As you can see, it has a QD built right into the lower. Ambi mag release. It's got the extended bolt release on here. And it also has the tension screw on the inside for the takedown pin, which really kind of makes it there's no wiggle room at all in this rifle. As some rifles, you have like a little play from the upper receiver and the lower receiver. This does have like a resistance retention screw in here from the lower that kind of creates tension on the takedown pin, which is great. You know, Aero does a lot of that with their lowers now, and I think that's a great feature to add, because that always bothered me on some rifles, that they have like a little play between the upper and the lower. And I obviously painted this rifle. I painted it different colors over the years. Right now it's basically a wolf gray with a coyote FDE blend. I think this is a great color blend for all sorts of stuff. It will blend in the backwoods, it will blend in urban areas, and you know, for civilians, that whole gray man approach is, I think, a very good thing for civilians to have, as a gray man approach. We're going to talk a lot about more covert gear in the future videos. We're going to start to move over to covert stuff, but I do like the gray man approach to a lot of things. But the optic, man, this optic is a Primary Arms LPVO, and I will say just really nothing but good things to say about it. I mean, at 300 bucks you get the optic and the mount, 1-to-6 powered LPVO with the ACSS reticle, which is arguably from a lot of people one of the best reticles, if not the best reticles out there. I like the reticle. I like the reticle on my Elcan better than this reticle. That's just my personal preference, but a lot of guys love the ACSS reticle, and I understand why. I loved it too. The original, you know, lens caps broke and fell off, And I have these cheaper ones that I have. I don't know where I got these. I think these are from Amazon. These are probably some Chinese one. The front one was a little loose, so I had to zip tie it. But the LPVO, I've had this for at least 6-7 years as well, and I have babied it. I haven't been rough with it. I haven't, you know, I've taken care of it. I've always thought, oh, it's a cheaper LPVO. If I drop this LPVO, it's probably going to break. And so I always kind of did baby it, but it hasn't broken on me yet. And I've had this for about 7 years and used this a lot. I've only taken it out to 300 yards, and at 1 to 6, it's phenomenal. I can tell you that probably 500 yards is going to be the max for this LPVO. The glass quality starts to distort once you get around 500 yards, but at 300, it's phenomenal, especially when you're shooting man-sized targets or, you know, larger targets. You can see very well. When you start getting to the smaller targets, the glass clarity, and depending on the humidity of the day, it can really kind of distort the glass. But for the price, I mean, the glass is actually very well. Like I said, I've had it about 7 years, and it's held up. It works. It's been good to me. Love it. Great budget option for anybody. Sorry, there's a train going by. Great budget option for anybody who is looking for an LPVO setup. You know, and you're on a budget. This is about as cheap as it gets, and perhaps about as good as it gets. The rail system. Oh, before we talk about the rail system, this is a Trijicon RMR piggyback mount that I ran like this for so many years. I ran a piggyback up top, which is my favorite way to run it. I've had the 45-degree offset mount from Arasaka. As you can see here, it's not painted. I don't know if you guys can see. That's where I had my 45-degree offset. And I ran it like that too, and I love it. I love the 45-degree offset as well as the piggyback. I found out that the piggyback worked a little better for me over the long run. So that's a Trijicon RMR piggyback, and I did run a Hollison 507C on top of there. And I've had that for years. Ran that, and that was my favorite way to run this rifle. The rail system is a Stinger. It's made in the USA. Stinger rail system on here. I got this when the company first came out. Kind of took a risk on them, and it is extremely lightweight and durable. It hasn't came loose on me at all, and I like the rail. It has a good fitment, locks up pretty good. Not as good as BCM or Geisley or Daniel Defense, obviously, but I think I got this rail system for about $100. Now they're a lot more. I think they, you know, over the years they've grown and upcharged a little bit and probably made the rails a little bit better. But that is the rail system on here that I have, as well as just a Magpul foregrip. Basic bird cage. I've had muzzle brakes on here. I went through that whole phase of muzzle brakes and different muzzle devices on here. I ended up just settling with the bird cage. It's cheap, it does the job, suppresses flash. That's really all you need. The flashlight, I've had this light for so long. This is the Streamlight, whatever, Pro Tag, whatever light it is, that comes with the pressure switch on here. The pressure switch actually broke on me finally about 6 months ago. And I just run the tail cap. I run the tail cap on all my lights. I don't trust pressure pads really as much. I've heard from other guys, even the Surefire pressure pads are failing. So nobody ever really reports on tail caps failing as much, if at all. So I just run tail caps now. I prefer to just hit the button when I need light and don't want any pressure pads as much. And now I have more rail space for things down the line like a D-ball, infrared lights, lasers, things like that. So it frees up the rail space. But yeah, this light has been with me, gosh, ever since I got the rifle. I want to say 10 years too. It was one of the first things I bought with the rifle was irons, this light, and a sling. It wasn't this sling. I got this sling later on. This is a TRex arm sling, by the way. Like I said in my other video, I have these slings on all of my long guns. They're my favorite slings. They're streamlined. The mesh material is awesome for the summer. It creates ventilation and helps with sweating and things like that. So great sling. These are my favorite slings. So TRex arm sling. But yeah, I had this light. Back to the light. I've had this light on here for about 10 years, and it still works. Still works. And I have beat up the light. I've banged this thing around in training, running and gunning, on my kit, on my knees, on everything. As you can see, it's pretty beat up here, but it still works, still runs. And that's a Streamlight light, so it's not this expensive light that people want to go ahead and buy and purchase. You know, I would say just get a light that works and has some sort of reputable reputation behind the company and run it. It's just white light at the end of the day. So I don't think you need to spend $300, $400, $500, $600 on a light. You know, use that money in ammo and training like you hear every other gun YouTuber talk about. They're correct. It's basic common knowledge to just get training in, because once you get training in, you're going to feel comfortable and confident in your equipment. So that is the rifle setup that I've had over the years. Now I've ran this rifle with irons, with a red dot magnifier, and I love the LPVO setup. I have an LCANS, which is a fixed 4x, which is kind of like an ACOG, and I think those are the main setups that people have. Is basically your red dot magnifier, your LPVO, or your ACOG/LCAN setups. Those are the main setups that people have nowadays, and I think for good reason. Those are to the top 3 out there. And I've been through so many configurations of this rifle, and it has been phenomenal. Now I've had reliability issues with this rifle. This rifle only likes 77 grain 5.56 ammo, which is pricey. The rifle itself is, for whatever reason, this rifle was about $1,300. I think I've seen it up to $1,300 when it first came out 10 years ago, and I've seen it as cheap as $1,000. So it's not as budget as other options out there. Like you can now get a PSA rifle for $400 or $500 out the door with everything, and I would say go that route, because PSA, in my opinion, I just like that company more than Sig. Sig they make good stuff, but I feel like and I don't like talking bad about companies, but I have to be honest, and I just feel like Sig is one of those companies that makes the consumer or customer buy their product and then they test it, and then when things don't work, it's like Sig gets free testing from their customers, when they should be just testing things out for years and then releasing it to the market. And this rifle has had reliability issues, and it just likes the 5.56 ammo. Like anything 223 55 grain, it just does not like. It won't cycle properly. And yeah, you can go through the buffer tube system and try different weights out and things like that, but I just like a rifle to work out of the box. I don't want to have to mess around with the gas system and tweak things, even though that's not bad to do that. I think everybody needs to learn how to do that. And if you're a true rifleman, you would know how to fine-tune your rifle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I like about my BCM now is that it just eats everything that I feed it, and this rifle just mainly likes 5.56 62 grain and up ammo, which happens to be a little bit more expensive. So that is the rifle setup here. One thing I missed back here was I had the Radian Raptor charging handle on here before. I took that off, and this is just the BCM extended charging handle with the extended level right here. Stock mil-spec trigger, mil-spec controls. I'm trying to see if I missed anything over here. Yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this gave you some ideas of some budget options. And if you have any questions, please comment below. I love talking to you guys. I love interacting with the body of Christ, and anything I can help over my years of going through all this different equipment and gear, anything I could help and assist you guys into making your purchases, I would love to do. And feel free to comment whatever your questions down below. I really do try to get back to everyone. Thank you all for tuning in to this video. Those of you who have made it to the end, I appreciate you. To close it out, I just wanted to say it's important to go out there and build skills, which in turn build confidence. And it's important to have confidence in your gear and equipment, but just don't put your faith and trust in man or man-made equipment. Put your faith in the Lord. If this video has blessed you in any way or helped you out with ideas and with gear and things like that, consider hitting the subscribe button. That's the only thing I'll ever ask of you guys, is to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get notified of all my future videos. Like, comment your thoughts, even if it's disagreements or constructive criticism. I love it all. I'm forever a student, always learning. So like, comment, share the video if possible. I would never ask of you guys for money to become a Patreon and pay a subscription fee. Some of these YouTubers are out there asking people to become members and Patreons, charging $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 a month. I know that people out there are struggling in this economy, and I'll only ask you guys to subscribe. I'm not going to be charging people for free content and wisdom that the Lord has given me over the years. I serve the body of Christ, and I give freely, and so yeah, just wanted to say that for you guys. So hit the subscribe and like button if this video has helped you out. And until next time, I'll see you guys on the next video, and may the Lord be honored in your lives. Brother Bobby, over and out.